Oh dear.
Hi, welcome to Permission Granted. I'm your host, Juliette Ricci Lagman. Today on the pod, we have Ashley Elzea and Danielle Elzea Sanabria. Ashley is a yogi, the owner of Fiscal Fox Bookkeeping, and co-owner of Stone Age Construction. And Danielle is the amazing engine behind Fiscal Fox Bookkeeping.
You got amazing.
Welcome.
I know.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being on the
Thank
pod.
you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, I'm just usually I start out with tell me a little about yourself, but let's one thing I just want to start with is you guys are related. So, tell me about that.
How can you tell we're related?
It's impossible.
Well, Danielle is my mom, and yeah, it's my mom. Yeah, we work together. We spend every day together, every second.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works
I
out.
love it.
Works out well. I can tell I'm usually really bossy, and I can tell that I've taken things too far with her when she snaps back at me because usually she's really patient. So
Yeah.
And you guys are, well, okay, so you're based in Snohomish.
yes.
Actually, I met you because my husband went to yoga teacher training and you
Yeah.
were taking the training as well. And now you're my bookkeeper. You guys are my bookkeeper.
hmm
Um, so tell me, I just want to get into it a little bit. Tell me about you guys are starting a podcast. Tell me about that.
Yes. So it's been about 9 months in the making. We're slow burners.
Mhm.
We have our logo. The podcast is titled Two Non-Blondes. The story
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, of
Yeah.
course. The story behind that is the song What's Up by Four Non-Blondes.
Ah,
When I was growing up, that was just kind of like unofficially our song, I guess. And also if
mhm.
you included my sister, she's in the other room, so I have to say, also includes my sister. That is just our favorite song to belt out. That's the song I
Yeah.
karaoke every time I go out. And it just makes you feel good, when you crank it up. And so we thought there's only two of us, and we're not blonde by nature. And so it just really fit. And we threw in the unfiltered just because our podcast is going to be the things that people don't really say out loud.
I love
The
it.
Yeah, the things that people are afraid to talk about, grief, loss,
Mm.
depression, addiction, those types of things.
Oh,
And so we're really excited to get started, and hopefully, people want to listen to us and we don't get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah. It's
She'll be the one to get us in trouble.
the unfiltered's just kind of like to me, it's like a warning, if you don't want to hear it, just I'll leave it
it's
in.
not
Yeah.
for children.
Not for
No.
children. Yeah, don't put it on in the car when you have your kids in the back seat. There might be a few little swear words in there. So
Yeah.
we're usually on our best
A-okay.
behavior. But that's gonna be our time to just have like real conversation. Just a
Yeah.
good outlet for us.
Are there any subjects that are off the table?
Politics and religion are off the table for us and not
Ooh, very
something
good.
that we will ever discuss. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. You do have to have some boundaries.
Yeah.
And so just setting that up front is really smart. Um, how when is your first episode airing?
We're going to record our first episode next week. And as long as it sounds good and she doesn't get too wild, then hopefully the first week of May we'll launch. And we want to do a couple at a time. So we've got our
Yeah,
outline. We're excited to get started, and hopefully the first week of May.
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's probably when this episode will air, so we can,
Oh, there we
promote it in the
go.
show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Awesome.
perfect.
We'll see
Oh
how it
my God.
goes.
It's always the quiet ones, isn't it?
Always. 100%. People are like, she's so nice. And I'm like, sure. She's very nice. But
Oh
there's
my God.
so many things you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, I have such a different relationship with my mom. It's kind of the opposite of yours, I would say. So, how is it you guys work together? You're together a lot. You're a very close family, it sounds like. How is
Yes.
it working together? How does that, do you ever like, oh, I just need a break, or is it
Oh yeah.
just, seamless? Yeah.
Nothing is seamless.
It's pretty seamless.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, also we take breaks and we go get massages and we are always at,
Yeah.
coffee downtown on First Street. So when
Yeah.
we feel ourselves getting worked up, like midday, we're like, okay, what can we do? Like, let's go have lunch, let's do something. And then we usually get really tired and go home, but we're pretty productive the first half of the day. So we don't fight too much. But
I mean, we know each other real well.
really, really
So,
Yeah.
well.
and it's real rare that we're both about to, that we can usually, if she's getting upset or at me, I mean, I'll just confront her and be like, "What's going on?
That is true.
Why are you freaking out on me right now?"
Okay.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When she's not really freaking
And
out, but it's just, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we haven't always been this great at
No.
this, but at this point where we're at, we know each other pretty well and we could just be real with each other and just talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't ever get explosive, and we balance each other so
Oh
well
yeah.
in the
oh,
office. Like she has, you know, she has
Well,
her
I'm always the boss. I'm the boss everywhere I go, whether it's in the office or like at home. So I'm unofficially what I would call the leader of my family, really. I mean,
mm,
if I'm not planning it or, whatever, it doesn't really get executed or happen. So that's always just kind of been my role and everybody knows it. And why are you looking at me like that? You know it's true. But she's right. We do balance each other out really, really well. I can get a
yeah,
little bit chaotic, and she strangely is like the calming force in the
yeah.
duo. Um, but she's also right when she says, like, we haven't always gotten along. We're only 14 years apart.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it was kind of like, I know this is my mom, but also she's kind of like my big sister, you know?
Yeah.
And her favorite thing to hear is, oh my God, are you guys sisters? So, but we figured it out, I think.
also, I think that we're friends.
Yeah.
If that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
you could call it whatever you want, but
Yeah.
it's just like I enjoy spending time with her, and her skills are not my skills. So when I
Uh,
say we balance each other, we're not both trying to do the same thing at the same
yeah.
time.
We don't want
And I
to.
think, yeah, I think that really works,
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
tell me a little about in the Fiscal Fox world. Um, Tell me about so Ashley, you kind of mentioned that you are the people person. You're like
Yeah.
the outreach. And Danielle, you have the years of experience and history. And so how did how did this business happen actually?
Oh man. Well, you were unemployed, just kind of like a housewife, which is also weird. But
I was enjoying it.
yeah, she was really loving it. And I kind of pulled her out of that. I worked a corporate-esque type, what became more corporate, that started as a small business. They grew really large, really fast. And I was there for 10 years.
Mm,
Um, I don't fit in well being a number. And
mm,
so I decided that that was no longer for me. Jorge and I, we already owned Stone Age and it was going really well. So we
mm,
had the decision of you can either just come on full time for Stone Age and quit your job or figure something else out. And I'm not the
mm,
type of person that can only be doing one thing at a time. So I thought, well, we love coffee, but we know how we know finances.
Hmm.
And so this just made sense. We worked for free for like 6 to 8 months when we started, but we were just so happy being here and
Ah,
working and being together that we're like, well, if we never get paid, that's fine, I guess. So
yeah.
our husbands would probably think different about it. But we were just hanging out.
I mean,
So
I don't really know how it all came about, actually.
well, I just told you.
I
I
was
just told
doing
you.
the books for Stone Age, and yeah, I mean, I think just one day she said, I think we should just do this. And I was like, yeah, okay, sounds good.
Well, that's the more condensed version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
But
perspective.
that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for. I'm just kidding.
Right. Wrap it
Oh
up.
my gosh. So, okay. So, how long has Fiscal Fox been around?
A little over a year.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing. And what do you feel is the secret sauce to your success?
I feel like uh, let me know if you agree. I feel like we are just good people all around and we
Yeah.
care about people. And so, and we just can you help me here? Like we just care. Like we're that's the most important thing to us is
Yeah.
you and your business and how can we best support you and take care of you. And I feel like that gets you really far.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
communication with people, and we really do care. It's, I don't know.
We love money just like everybody else, but that's not what drives us.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, you're really in from my outsider view, somewhat, you're really active in the community. So
Yes.
tell me how networking plays a part into what you do.
I feel like networking is most successful when you are there to make real, genuine connections and it's not transactional. So
Yeah.
when I walk in anywhere and I say, "Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the owner of Stone Age and Fiscal Fox. What what can I do for you?" And it is that transaction, like there's no substance there. They're not going to remember me. They're not going to call me back. And so when you have that slow burn and you're building these genuine relationships where these other business owners or just community members become your friends and then some of them your family, that lasts
Yeah.
for a lifetime. They're always going to remember and be like, oh, somebody needs a patio, here's Ashley's information, you need a bookkeeper.
And I think that, I mean, from my point of view, I was never there promoting myself. It was Fiscal Fox, Stone Age. But the cool part about it is when you're there and it's not just us that we're promoting. It's like we're talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I need a roofer, or do you know any?
We
Oh my
love
gosh,
connecting
yes.
people.
That's
Love.
that's the
Yes.
thing. Like the board on our wall with everybody's business cards. It's just like whenever there's so many conversations when you're like, oh, I know somebody, and
Yes.
We're in it for everybody's success, not
yeah,
just our own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Again,
And I
condensed version.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a rambler. Yeah.
I love it. I feel that that is, you guys truly do care and that comes through, and
Thank you.
I am a client of yours, so I can
Mhm.
attest to that.
Thank you.
Um, Ashley, I want to ask you about so you did the yoga teacher training
Yeah.
and you also run workshops
Hmm.
for or retreats, I think is
Yeah.
the better word.
Hmm.
How do you balance all of these things that you have going on? Talk to me about that.
Oh boy, that's still something I'm learning. Um, so I guess I'm a planner junkie. I have a lot of calendars. I have as much time as everybody else has. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I get really jealous of people who have um, not as much on their calendars. And I'm like, how come I have a problem saying no.
Hmm.
But I think I don't know, just prioritizing.
I don't know how she does
I
it,
don't know either.
honestly.
I'm going to
It's
be
just
real with
like
you.
I think I
I
had to
have no clue.
screenshot her a pic. We are on a joint calendar. we're
Yeah.
on 3 joint calendars, but one
Mhm.
of the joint calendars, I had to screenshot it and remind her that she had something going on in the morning because she was scheduling her day, letting me know, Mike. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, no, I think this is what I see.
Hmm.
And she's
Yeah.
like, oh
And
my God.
I do have a tendency sometimes, which I've gotten so much better about saying no to things and not double booking myself,
yeah.
which isn't kind to do to anybody. But you just get, you get in a mode
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah. But I've toned it down a little bit. So I have the construction, I have the bookkeeping. We're
You're
starting the podcast, which is really important to me. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think that
She's
I'll
on the board of Kalahaya. She's on the board of Snohomish Chamber. I mean, I don't know how she does it all. I just sit back.
she she's a good support, yeah, but she
Yeah.
won't get involved in any of that. Um, but as far as the yoga, I really did it for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I will ever now I thought about turning that into a business, but after I created my entity, so I paid the state to, consider creating a business. I decided that I just really want to keep the yoga for myself, and I
Yeah.
still want to be involved in retreats. So if there's anybody that's hosting one and would
Hmm.
like me to come as a yoga instructor, I'd be happy to do that. But I just
It's oh, go ahead.
no, yeah. I just decided that I wanted to keep that more as a hobby.
I think that's great because it literally, like, I think of, some of the poses in yoga, and I think that ends up, balancing out everything that you do because it is, self-care first.
Yes.
And I'm having to learn that in the last few months to try to put that first. But I think, like any good discipline, if you, for instance, do your workout in the morning, then it's out of the way. Doesn't, get away from you or something like that. But
Yeah.
I think by doing the training, you just put yourself first, and
Yeah.
made that investment.
Yeah. And we would have
Yeah,
never met if I didn't take the training and meet your wonderful husband. So,
exactly.
everything happens for a reason, and here we are.
Yeah, exactly. And then outside of the business, what are some things that you guys like to do? I know you recently went on a trip and you spend a lot of time with your niece.
Yes. So I have two nieces. They're both her granddaughters.
Oh,
And one of them's actually here. So my sister brings her to work. My sister also is helping on the construction side. And so my niece
very
comes
cool.
every Thursday. I think that I see her like 4 times a week,
Yeah.
which I just can't get enough. I'm like, if you ever want to just leave her and not pick her up, like I will keep her forever.
On the phone, she's like, they forget to come and pick her up tonight.
Yeah. I love spending time with her. She's got 7 grandkids, and
Wow.
that can be such a blessing, but also
Oh
overwhelming,
my God, that's my favorite part of life right now is being a grandma.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a grandma yet, so I'm gonna hold off a little bit on that. But we love camping. We love being outdoors, going on walks. I don't know, like what else to do.
Vacation,
Oh yeah, definitely vacation. We just went on a cruise
post
in
hotel.
February.
We like post hotel.
Yeah, we do. If we could get our husbands to pay to put us up in post hotel, like, and never come home, we would do it in a heartbeat. We would send them postcards, but
Yeah.
but I would stay there forever. So we
Wait,
love campering
you said post hotel?
in
Yeah.
Leavenworth. Yes.
Oh, I've
Have you
never
been
been
there?
there.
Oh
Mm-mm.
my gosh. Yeah. Uh
Okay.
a lot of people are like, well, it's so expensive. Well, like, I know, but everything's included, the wellness center, your
Oh,
food, and you walk in there, you put on your bathrobe and your slippers, and you don't leave your bathrobe and your slippers. You
Yeah.
go up and
wow.
have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in your bathrobe.
Which is included, by the
Wow.
way.
Yeah.
You just sit by the pool. There's like saunas, like every kind of sauna, steam room that you could think of. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going back in
Oh,
July.
I'm telling you, that sounds like a dream. I
Yeah.
love a spa vacation.
Oh yeah. Same.
Oh my gosh. I want to switch it a little bit to tell me, Ashley, about Stone Age construction and how did you guys make that transition from corporate job to starting that business? Like, what made you take the leap?
Yeah. My husband was in the industry for quite a few years. I want to say like 12 to 15 years. I can't really put a number on it before we opened Stone Age. And I have always been his biggest fan. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so good at everything you do. You know, it's all perfection to me. And he was unhappy at his job. So as much as he adored his boss, it just wasn't the healthiest of environment, and he was exhausted, you know, working long hours. I felt like a single mom, and so that, again, being slow burners, was 5 years in the making. So he came
Mm,
up with the name, and it took us 5 years to pull the trigger. We were both working full-time jobs when we started Stone Age, and
wow.
we set a goal that when we get a job that is, say, over $150,000, that's when he'll quit. That job came, he quit his job, and we have been so blessed our entire
Mm,
construction journey. So
yeah,
it was one of the scariest things we've ever done, especially both of us being self-employed, but I wouldn't
yeah.
have it any other way. So
Ah,
if anybody's considering, take the leap, do it. You
yes.
won't regret it.
Yeah, you have that freedom of being your own boss, and
Yeah.
there's just so many pros to it, really.
Yeah.
Um,
And your brain
what?
never shuts off. You know, there's cons to it as well. You know, I
Yeah,
dream about bids and schedules and whatnot. But the freedom that you do get is priceless. So,
yeah, yeah. And there are just so many folks with that entrepreneurial spirit that,
mhm.
they should follow it because, we need that diversity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And I think that
and
Stone Age's success, sorry, cut you off, but I just have to
no,
say this is based on the same thing that we were talking about with Fiscal Fox. And it's like the integrity
Yeah.
that Stone Age has, and that Jorge just like he loves what he does, and
mm,
he loves creating, and he's so personable, and his communication, her
We
communication.
we vacation with past clients. We have had
wow.
clients to our house for barbecues. We've gone on multiple vacations with clients. We've stayed at clients' vacation cabins. Like, they become our family truly.
Yeah,
Like, actually,
It's true.
yeah, so
Yeah.
many of them. And yeah, I mean, Jorge's he's just a great person all around, and him and his
yeah.
crew. Her husband also is part of Stone Age.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, yeah, he's
It's gonna get weird.
ooh. He's actually, so her husband is 14 years younger.
Okay,
Okay,
I
well,
don't know why she
anyway,
had to say
he's
that.
my
Okay.
age. So she's a cougar,
You go, girl.
and he's actually Jorge's best friend. They were childhood friends and grew up together.
Oh my
So,
God. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
You know it was going to come out eventually. But they, yeah, so he works with Jorge, and they're a great team as well. So,
Yeah, they are.
yeah.
It's bizarre, really.
Yeah,
They
but
don't
it
even
works.
need to talk, really.
No, they have like
It's
an
so amazing.
unspoken. Yeah.
How
Yeah, it is
many,
crazy.
how do I ask this question? How many do you have on your crew?
We have four people on our
Wow.
crew. Yeah, and we are considering bringing on a second crew. But we don't do anything fast. You know, we just want to
Yeah,
make sure the timing's right and everything works
very
out. So,
smart.
yeah.
What services does Stone Age offer? Like, what do you specialize in?
Outdoor living spaces.
Yeah.
So retaining walls, pavers,
Patio,
irrigation. Well,
turf.
pavers are a patio, artificial turf, putting greens, outdoor kitchens, outdoor lighting, all the fabulous luxury things you can put outside.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, truth be told, I sent my husband the listing, your website, and I was like, check this out because we need this.
Yes. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
also doing We're doing turf for the stadium too.
Oh yeah, we are the official turf team for the Washington Wolfpack in Everett.
Oh,
So we roll
wow.
their field out and we roll it up after every game. Yeah, so we love
Is that
partnering with them.
is that at, forgive me, Funko Field?
It's Angel of the Winds Arena. Yeah.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Amazing. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So good. Okay, well, my let's talk more about your podcast. So you
Yeah.
mentioned your topics are, nothing's off topic except for politics and
Politics and
religion.
religion. Yes.
And you want to talk about everything, the deep stuff, the funny stuff, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Um, what when you first started talking about the podcast, what kind of topics did you guys throw around, or were there any pivotal stories that you were like, we got to tell this story or the story about our family?
We do that frequently. So when we are just sitting here in the office and we're having conversations, we're like, are these conversations that other people are having? Because they're not talking to us about it. But we just wanted to create, which makes sense, but we just wanted to create like a safe space, for
Yeah.
us to talk and for other people to be like, hey, I'm going through that too.
I think
That
that
happened to me.
Yes.
I think that our family has, like not I'm not saying more than others, but we've suffered a tremendous amount of things,
Yeah.
grief and loss and just kind of all of it. All of it. It's been colorful and
That's a good way to put it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we are still all united as a family. We've just
Yeah.
been through a lot of things
Mhm.
and we know a lot of people that have suffered tremendous, I've just been through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think through those conversations, it's like we have a lot of compassion, experience,
Yeah.
amongst us that,
Oh,
we just feel like people don't talk about some stuff. And maybe if you hear somebody else has gone through it, or you're feeling the same, has felt the same way, and they've come
yeah.
out the other side, or however that looks, but just by hearing people's stories and being able to
Yeah.
relate,
Mhm.
there's been some domestic violence situations that people in the family have come out on the other side.
Homelessness,
Yeah.
Hmm.
addiction.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have a big family who's been through a lot of things and we've seen a lot. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure what it
Yeah.
looks like in those conversations, but
We'll find out.
I know that
Yeah.
there's people out there that don't necessarily talk about it and we just
Yeah.
don't get that deep,
Yeah.
so I don't know. If my
It's true.
experience or her experience or whatever can help somebody else
That's the most important thing to us. Yeah.
find hope,
Yeah.
And just knowing they're not alone.
Hmm. Yeah, that vulnerability piece I've found through doing this podcast for a couple months is really important. And, obviously not everybody has to be that way, but it can,
No.
that vulnerability and authenticity, it can be a superpower and it's very welcome. Like I know personally, if I hear stories from other people, good, bad, ugly, whatever, I crave that because I want to know that I had a hard experience too, and then I feel better when somebody else tells me their similar experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I had, who was it I was talking to? Um, Actually, I interviewed someone yesterday, and off the recording, we were talking about a customer experience we had, and we kind of had a similar where a customer wasn't happy. And I was
Hmm.
just so grateful for her to tell me that story because I was like, yeah, because I was like, it made me feel better. I'm like, oh, that I'm not just inherently flawed, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And we know we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
Yeah.
nor do you have to be,
no.
you will find your audience. And
Yeah.
are you planning to have on there like interview people every week, or are you gonna
Yeah.
just yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not every week. So we have a rough outline of what we're going to discuss. but we definitely will try and to bring some people in.
Yeah, we know some amazing people.
Yeah, we do.
And I
Yeah.
think that have a lot to share.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do. You know a lot in the community, and I'm finding I didn't expect this podcast to be so not that I wouldn't go, talk to people across the country, but that community feel, you kind of start where you
Yeah.
are, and
Mhm.
it's really impactful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're
Um,
excited.
so
Well, I'm excited.
I
I don't
have
know.
a
I'm excited.
tell me, Danielle, tell me one thing about Ashely that people don't know about her.
Oh dear. That they don't know about her?
Yeah.
Oh. Um
Something positive.
it's just like, I mean, all sorts of things are going through my mind right now. It's not a blank, but I think that she is the most compassionate person, but I don't think that she shows that. I don't know, does
Oh,
she? I think she is really compassionate and open-minded and understanding. So I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of times people tell me that I'm unapproachable.
Or just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
have the RBF, you know. But I don't that might be due to insecurity or like my mind's wandering or whatever.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that I am very compassionate and
She
understanding and
is,
kind.
yeah.
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 And
I agree.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Isn't that, but I just don't know. When it comes to Ashely, I look at her and she's just perfection to me. I know it's ridiculous,
Oh,
but it's
yes.
always been that way. I mean, like she could do no wrong, believe me.
Oh yeah, we got stories about that.
Oh yeah, like I would just be
Oh,
like, "Oh no, she would never." Like, so that's still the way I look at her. So I'm not really
yeah.
sure how other people see her, but I
Hmm.
I mean, I understand her, so
Any stories you want to share about she could do no wrong? You
Oh,
can say
geez.
no.
Well,
Well,
I
I could tell
mean,
the story about when I stole your car.
yeah, okay. Well,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
exactly. So my previously was married, and my ex-husband she was in high school, and they were kind of back and forth all the time, and she didn't like him much.
Mm.
And they didn't like each other very much, but he also had her number because he would be, just for instance, one of the things he would say, Ashley's taking the car out at night. And I'd be like, no, she would never do that. And we argued about it for a few weeks actually. And he's like, the gas is gone and it's parked different and the radio station's turned. And I was still like, no, she would never do that. And then I
Oh
think
my,
it was about a week afterwards that at midnight, I think it was midnight, the Gilbert Police Department called
We
us
were in
up.
Arizona.
Yeah, they called us up and they
okay.
said, "Hello, is this the mother of Ashley?"
I
Ashley
didn't have a
Elzea.
driver's license.
No, she was only
15.
15 and
Oh
is
But I
my
had
God.
friends. I had friends to go see, though.
Yeah.
Like we don't shut it down when you're 15 years old.
no, they
Like
had her pulled over on the
yeah,
side of the road and they're like, "Yeah, you need to come and get her because she's driving your car and she's pulled over on Val Vista Lakes Drive." And I was like,
Oh my.
"Oh my God, I was so wrong." So yeah.
yeah, it's true.
Yep. She could do no wrong. Can I tell one more story
Oh,
about her?
Yes, please.
okay. Well, we didn't discuss this, so
We didn't discuss the other thing. But
We can
anyway,
always edit it.
I think this was after the pulled over thing. So my blinders were kind of coming off a little bit. But I pulled in the driveway after work one day and my other car was in the driveway with a flat tire and it
oh,
had
oh
duct
my
tape
god.
over the
No.
tire. And I was like, what is going on here?
Okay.
I went in the house. She thought for some reason she hit
Okay.
a curb in my car, no license yet. Hit a curb in my car and popped the tire
I
and thought
rolled
duct tape.
I rolled the car. Okay, I didn't even make it off of our street. And I
Oh
don't know, I hit the curb, the tire was flat, and I was like, Oh crap. So I
The
rolled
duct tape.
I
I'll never
rolled the
forget
car
that.
back into the garage by myself, up the driveway, into the garage, shut the garage, and I was like, if I would have just left it, nobody would have known anything. But I grabbed a roll of duct tape, slapped it on the tire, and she's like, "Why is there duct tape on my flat tire?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Anyway, that I just
Oh
had to share that.
my
Popped in my head, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not sure. I still wonder what I was thinking at that time. I don't
God.
know. But yeah,
Duct tape, it
I
fixes
was a
everything.
troublemaker. Yeah.
Right? Apparently.
Yeah.
But you can do no wrong.
No, still.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, and so Ashley, tell me one thing about your mom
Oh boy,
that
that can
people
be
might not
juicy.
know.
Well, I would have told you the cougar story about how she married a younger gentleman. But we already got that out. So, oh man.
What?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff running through my head too, and I'm like, filter, because it could get really wild. But um, I don't know. I would phone a friend if I could.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any, I have any special, like, are you a good cook? Any special,
She's a terrible
um,
cook. There's always hair in her
oh
food. I'm just going to
my
say that.
God.
My husband would say the same. The first time he came over for dinner, she made enchiladas and he pulled a string of her hair out of his enchilada. Hold on, I'm not done. But terrible cook. Um
I work so hard at it.
Terrible cook, but you know what? She's a great artist. She doesn't think
Oh,
so, but she's a wonderful artist. She used to own a daycare many, many, many years ago
oh,
in
wow.
Snohomish. It was next to where the dollar store is now,
Yeah.
in that little strip, and she would paint the windows, right? Am I making this up?
No.
Okay. She would paint the windows, for holidays and whatnot, the snowmen, the things that people pay a lot of money to have on their windows. She would just like fling it out right onto the window.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't know what other kind of art stuff do you do, but
What
she's a great
mediums?
artist.
Hmm?
Like watercolor, acrylic, any
Just
particular?
I painted acrylics for a really long time. It's
Mhm.
it's not something that I do. I have the stuff, but I haven't. I pulled it out with my grandson a couple months ago, and we just
Oh,
messed around. Nothing,
yeah.
nothing that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good at it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I've never said that out loud. Yeah, she's a great
I love
artist.
it.
But don't go to her house for dinner, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I do my best.
Danielle,
Yeah, she does.
how before you were, let's see, how do I phrase it? How many years did you do bookkeeping, or were you with different firms, or how did
Um,
that go?
probably like 30 years, I would
Yeah.
say, right
Wow.
around there. Yeah, I've done a lot of contract work, I guess. I've
Yeah.
had, times where I worked for companies and but yeah, I do a lot of I was kind of specialized in like messes. If somebody
Oh,
was
They call that cleanup.
but
yeah.
it is cleanup, yeah, but I was just thinking back and I was like, yeah,
Messy.
situations just to where somebody was in a situation either they lost their data,
Yeah.
or just no, didn't have the right stuff and needed cleanup. So this kind of where I like to move around before,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
just
Very
do
good.
something amazing and then get it started and move on, you know.
You're the emergency management, like come in, sort of
Yes.
set it up, clean it up, kind of a
Yeah, just
thing.
help them with everything, just like
Yeah.
workflows and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
She feels really
Very good.
accomplished when she finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you
Hmm.
should.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's
Um,
what I like to do.
is there anything else that you want the audience to know, either about yourselves or podcast, business, anything?
Mm, no. I mean, I guess like if you see us around town, like we're not scary or intimidating and like come say hi, and we love meeting people for coffee and going out to lunch, and not everything has to be about business. We just love
Yeah.
making connections with people, and that's what we want to continue to do.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, all sorts of stuff was going through my head.
It's like, do you not agree with me?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're real people
Anything else?
doing real
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I want to say something about she kept bringing up how I was married to a lovely gentleman or something like that, and I was a cougar. And I just want to say,
She just wants to talk about that really quick.
yeah, I
Hang
just wanna
on.
talk
Yes,
about that really
please.
quick because I just want to say, like, from somebody who I'm just really happily married. I'm happily married, and I'm happy to say that because I went through some rough, stuff in the past,
Yeah.
and like this whole era of my life is just, it's like there's hope for happily ever after. That's how I feel right now. That's my mind. And it's been 8 years, I guess. 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good for me. That's a good road, and it's pretty happy. And if a little bit more about myself is that I said
Yeah.
before, I love being a grandma. So
Mhm.
that's what makes my world go round
Can
right
I put
now.
on record though too? Like she also loves being a mom, even though she didn't say that. But
Ew.
one really important thing I want to say is even though you see us out and we're a great team, I'm not her favorite child.
Oh
So
my God.
I have a brother, and he's
Oh.
actually the child that can do no wrong, that she still sees as like an infant. And she will tell anybody, like, he's my favorite. He knows it. He
Oh.
uses it to his advantage, but it's not me or my sister.
And so I don't know why they think that. Yeah, I don't know why. But
But at least you guys get along. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, you're so lucky and you're very blessed with family. I mean, like I will just say I have a very small family, so we don't have so obviously there's, pros and cons, but
Yeah.
yeah,
more pros. And that's a theme that I keep saying about how what a blessing grandchildren are
I'm gonna
for
go grab her.
people. And it's not to say, how do I say, you know, like I don't have kids. I'll never have grandkids, and that's okay. But I think just recognizing that, how
yeah.
special it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's like,
And there
here's
she
this one.
is.
Hi. Well, hello. How's my girl?
And what is
Say
her
my
name?
name's Louise.
Hi, Louise. Oh
She
my
got a
God.
little bit of a cold.
Yeah.
She's a
Oh,
pretty little special girl, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
how old is she?
It is so much different than being a mom. I mean, trust me,
Yeah.
I love my kids,
5 months.
Oh,
but
wow.
being a grandma is just a whole totally different story.
Yeah.
Totally different story. It's kind of like you can spend the time that you couldn't when you were a parent, you know?
Yes. Yes.
It's a
And
whole
then you
different
can
perspective.
give them back at
Same
night.
with being an aunt, for sure.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
She's
precious.
a happy girl. Are you a happy girl? Hi,
Well,
Louise.
Louise, what do you think?
Hi.
I think she likes us. She'll keep us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ashley, Danielle, Louise, I just want to thank you for being on the podcast. And everybody, look for their forthcoming podcast coming out the first week of May. And I will add in the show notes all the info for Fiscal Fox and the pod and Stone Age as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it was really awesome to talk to you and great
Thank you.
connecting always. And
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
having us
We love
on.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you
Oh, I'm
got
so
out of
grateful.
us what you wanted and we weren't just rambling.
Oh, well, let me just say the car story was, especially the duct tape, that was it.
I know it's not good.
Well,
Yeah.
we have many, many more of those stories. So definitely tune into our podcast because you're going to hear all
Yes,
of them.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys
Awesome.
so much.
Thanks.